My name is Michael Rodriguez. Most people call me Rod. I am the president and CEO of the Global War on Terrorism Memorial Foundation.
What inspired you to get to be a part of the foundation?
I'm not one of the founders. They approached me in 2016. I was speaking at an event, and they started to talk about this effort. And it just didn't really. I hadn't really thought about it, But really, what really inspired me was if anyone takes a second and pauses and thinks about this incredibly complex multi-generational war. We definitely need a reminder. The fact that it's such a small percent of the population has served and is serving and will serve in this current conflict. It's the responsibility for the rest of us is even greater. So I could probably fill up the whole talk here on reasons why this is important, not just to me, but really to the nation as well.
Can you tell me a little bit about your own military journey?
Sure. So I was blessed to serve this nation for 21 years. I was medically retired for multiple injuries. I received some in combat, some in training, um, and served my first deployment a little longer in the tooth than a lot of people, I think. So my first deployment was in 1993 to Somalia, and that was really kind of what solidified my desire to serve this nation in uniform as long as possible. And I really was introduced to the fact that the United States military doesn't just hunt down bad guys. I mean, I think we're the best at it it's ever been. However, we actually provide hope, safety, comfort, security to those that need it across the world. So it really showed me what the average everyday American like me from southern New Mexico could be a part of.
I talk to a lot of veterans, and they always bring up the transition back to civilian life and the challenges they faced. What were some of the challenges you faced?
Some of the challenges I faced was, the common one you hear about is that loss of identity. It doesn't matter that many of us are fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends. When we're in the military, that's your master status, right? Socially, we identify ourselves as like I was a Special Forces Green Beret and a sniper, and that was my job. Yeah, I was a father. I had three sons, and I got three younger brothers, and my parents are still with us. But I wasn't any of that. That was me. That was my entire identity, and I think there's a good and bad that goes with that identity in the military that they give us because they ask us of a lot, and we do really good at what we do. But when that's taken from you, you feel like you lose your identity. And I fell into the pit that most of us do, is we feel like, well, then I don't have any worth. I don't have any value. If I can't provide this, what can I do? What can I provide? And again, we completely forget about everything we do every single day with our loved ones or our small social circles. So I went through that, and of course, went chemical dependency, and I drank a lot. As a matter of fact, right behind me, the coin, that's my first 30-day chip coin that I keep on my coin rack. Uh, but that was me. I felt like I lost my identity, and it took me a little while to figure out that I was a lot more than an MOS in the United States Army.
Yeah, how important is it to share your own story to everyone, going through a difficult time?
I think it's incredibly important. First of all, no one should be ashamed of how they feel, right? This is something I like to say quite a bit. For whatever reason, we don't like to share ourselves. It requires a certain level of vulnerability, and it takes a lot of courage to do so. But you should, right? Because if you're not vulnerable, then you're not really connecting. You're not really sharing. You're not really communicating unless you're providing that that situation where you can be vulnerable. So sharing it and being open about it makes it okay. Sometimes humans have to be reminded that you're a human. Feeling is good. Feeling is part of who we are. And here's an analogy I like to use. I want to think just for a second. Has anybody ever apologized for being happy? Right? Or no. Like you don't ever go like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm sorry, I'm so happy. That doesn't happen. However, if I get emotional or someone gets emotional and they get to the position where this individual has placed himself in a vulnerable state to communicate with you and they start being emotional, what's the first thing they do? They apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I don't know why we do that. So if you think about it, human emotions are who we are.
Yeah.
So I say all that because then the more we share, the more we talk about it, the more we realize that I'm not broken. I still have value. I'm normal. This is absolutely normal for me to have experienced what I've experienced to feel this way. So I'm not going to get into that negative feedback loop, negative feedback loop of feeling bad for feeling bad to feeling bad. And then it gets worse and worse and worse, and we spiral down. So sharing our stories, being vulnerable, being completely open, being honest with others allows us to be honest with ourselves.
For you, what is it like, just talking with fellow veterans who went through the same experiences?
Um, I love to do it. First, I want to start by saying that I love to. I absolutely love to read PMs I get in any of my social media or emails I get or calls I get. I love to hear from my familia, and my family, my greater family. I really do. But I'll say it's hard. It is. I'll say what do I feel is I hurt because I have that connection with them and I know what they feel like. I may be further on in my journey of life and healing, but it hurts. It hurts, but it also for me is it's important to recognize the work that is necessary. The work that I did to get to where I am reminds me I need to continue that work so I can continue on. So I mean, it's challenging, but I mean that's how you grow, right? Place yourself in uncomfortable situations and try, and then that's how you'll grow and really just be a better human.
Can you tell me a little bit about the foundation?
Absolutely. So the foundation came together in 2015. It was a group of veterans and family members, and they recognized that hey, look, we need to start this effort. Obviously, building a national war memorial is a very long, complicated, and arduous process. So they recognized that if they didn't start then, when is the right time to start? Like when should we start? So they came together in 2015. Again, as I said earlier, I joined in 2016. I joined the board of directors, and we were trying to we were the first obstacle we were faced with is we had to get authorization to build it. We introduced the bill in 2017, and we got authorization, and then we started to build the team um, that you see today. If anyone goes to our website, um, and our mission is to honor all those that have served. We have four tenets that are pretty much keep us on azimuth. The first one is honor everyone that served, everyone. A lot of people don't realize the very first deployed Americans in the global war on terrorism was not the military. It was Operation Jawbreaker that was deployed today, September 26th in 2001, just 15 days after the attacks of 9/11. Our nation responded in kind, right? So it was more than uniformed service members that served and placed themselves in harm's way because additionally, um, the very first KIA was a gentleman by the name of Johnny Michael Spann, who also worked for the CIA Special Activities Division. He was killed in November of that year. So honor everyone that served. But then we've expanded that even more because, in this multi-generational conflict, I was introduced to what it's like to watch your child go to war, right? So it was 2018, and I've been blessed to deploy 10 times for us for this nation. The most difficult deployment for me weren't the 10 that I did. It was watching my son deploy to the Helmand province of Afghanistan with the 82nd Airborne Division to perform the Quick Reaction Force mission for that area, which means he's going to fight. Right? He was going to the Helmand province, a place I had been to twice. And guess what? His mother also served for 21 years and deployed 5 times. She had been there twice. So her and I are standing there watching our son go to the same areas to fight some of the same people that we had fought. And so we're recognizing the family service, but this is very, very unique situation because I can't imagine what it would have been like for my father who watched me graduate airborne school and go fight the Viet Cong any more than anyone can imagine what it would have been like for like my grandfather to watch my father graduate his training and then go, fight the Nazis or serve in the Pacific. And when you say it like that, it sounds completely foreign, and people are like, oh my gosh, that would be crazy. That's what has occurred in this multi-generational conflict. So when we say multi-generational, that's what we mean. Never have we existed as a nation where our sons and daughters watch their mothers and fathers go off to fight in war, only to grow up in a time of war to serve in that same very war. It's never occurred, but that's what happened. So honoring those that have served, uniform, non-uniformed, and those that supported them, the families. I could not have done what I did on my multiple deployments had my family not taken care of things back home for me. And I said that was the most difficult deployment for me. So honor, heal. Our second tenet is provide this nation to come an opportunity to heal those that have served and those that have been directly touched by the service in this nation's longest war. What does healing mean? Healing means emotional wounds. Healing means relationship wounds. Healing means healing as a nation that I think might probably be necessary as well. Healing is provide that focal point for all those involved to heal, honor, heal. Third tenet, empower. Provide those that have served an opportunity to tell their stories on our nation's front lawn. These are the everyday Americans that were asked to go forward on behalf of the entire nation. We need to give them that respect. I truly feel it is our nation's sacred duty to honor every brave man and woman that steps forward to serve and place themselves in harm's way for our very way of life. So empower them, give them that opportunity. And there's during the leaving of Afghanistan, we'll call it that, 2 years ago, there was the event that occurred at Abbey Gate where we lost 13 Americans on that single day. Shortly thereafter, the nation was all watching, and the nation, for the first time in a very long time, saw that we were still at war. They were reminded we were still at war. So in our nation's capital, of those 13, 11 of them were Marines. One was served in the Army Special Operations, and actually that young man actually deployed with my son. So when I watched my son go off to fight, that Special Operations soldier that was killed on that day was with my son, and that was one of his friends. So 11 Marines, one Army, and they had the Navy corpsman. A very large ceremony was held out of a memorial. And where was it held? At the Iwo Jima Memorial. Now, I think that's amazing. The Marines always rally to that. It's an incredibly, I love the Iwo Jima Memorial in our nation's capital. But you have to ask yourself, is that the right place for us to rally for the current conflict? Is that right? We didn't have anywhere to go. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, as a nation, we don't have anywhere to go. So empower everyone that to have that opportunity to engage everyone in our nation's capital, on our front lawns, where all the decisions that are made to send our men and women into harm's way, have something there. Because if not, we're forgotten. I think it's, people will look at the percent of individuals that serve in the military, and right now I think it's less than 1% of our nation is wearing the uniform right now. People will look at that and they'll be like, oh my gosh, is there like a patriotism? Is it like, I don't even, this is what I look at when I see that number. I, as a now retired Army guy, I look at the number and I'm incredibly proud that it only takes 1% to defend that 99%. I mean, that should be the goal, right? Why do we need a large military if a smaller one can do that? That speaks to the strength, resilience, selfless service that exists of all those men and women that have served. So, but it's such a small percent. We need to recognize that and honor them and give them that opportunity. Honor, heal, empower. Fourth tenet, unite. Unite us all. Remind everyone that this nation, yes, we're the most diverse, inclusive, multilingual nation in existence to have ever existed. And I believe that's where we draw our strength, is from that diversity of our citizenry. But on 9/11, who were we? We were the American people. It didn't matter your socioeconomic background or your demographic. It was completely irrelevant. For anybody that has traveled outside of continental United States and interacted with foreign nations, you stand out. I don't care what color of your skin is. I don't care what languages you speak. you stand out because the only people that think like Americans are Americans, and that's what makes this country the greatest I think to have ever existed. So unite, to unite us, to remind everyone, like those brave men and women that have served, those families that supported them, they're the mirror image of those that did not have the opportunity to serve or chose not to. So honor, heal, empower, unite. Those are the four tenets that guide our foundation on this sacred mission to fulfill a duty we all share.
And almost every day I see your logo because it's on the Mission Barbecue Cups. Uh, how does it feel to have, larger companies like Mission Barbecue to help your mission out?
It's when as one of my jobs, right, is to spread the mission and talk about what it is that we do. And when we are given that opportunity to just share our mission, to just talk about what we're doing, the approach that we've taken, excuse me, and why it's important, people are like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. Absolutely. How can I help? What can I do? So Mission Barbecue approached the foundation a few years ago, and it was it was Andrew Newton and um, Bill Kraus, the co-founders, and they were like, "Hey, Rod, we want to help. This is what we do. This is what we want to. How we want to help. We believe in the cause." Sat down with them, and so they've been our largest supporter thus far. We would not be where we are today if it was not for Mission Barbecue, and they stepped in at a point where no one knew who the heck we were. Didn't really have any money. It was just me trying to figure everything out. And they came in and they're like, right, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to help. How can we? What else can we do? So it's I use them as the gold standard as far as corporate sponsorship. And I hate to call them that corporate sponsorship because it seems somewhat amorphous or like they're an entity, but that entire organization is behind it and they support it because it's just everyday Americans. And if we're given the opportunity to engage, then people are like, yes, absolutely. Because there are many Americans know someone who has, or they can relate to it. And when you really tell these stories, and it doesn't matter what it is we did in the military, if I talk with some people, I'm hoping that somebody who's watching this will look at me and be like, wow, I didn't serve, but, I'm just like this guy, right? So you just trying to remind everyone that those that served were you. We're just trying to honor the best of this nation, those that have stepped forward to serve us all. So it's inspiring when people like Mission Barbecue step forward. I like to say all the time, like as we move forward, I'm gonna remind everyone, hey, this is the memorial that barbecue built.
So currently you have a campaign going on called Help Design History. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Incredibly excited to finally be able to share this plan I've been working on for about 4.5, almost 5 years. So Help Design History. Today, we are allowing everybody to visit our website. People will be able to go on and fill out an online survey that adds to the existing data that I started collecting in 2018. Quantifiable data that we can use to present to the designers for input into the National War Memorial, into this nation's memorial. I mean, this is the most broad, diverse, and inclusive approach that has ever been taken in designing a memorial. Most of the time, when memorials are designated, a board of directors or a governing body will select a design. We did not do that. We were looking for designers, world-class designers willing to step into this space that'll work with a foundation and be humble enough as an artist to listen to us, to listen and then go forward and design. As an artist myself, I know that an inspired artist will design brilliance. They will create excellence. So that is what we did, and that hasn't been done. So we found a phenomenal designer, Martin Blackwell, and Martin and the other designers, as we continue to build the team, will look at this data that we're collecting for the next 22 days. It starts today, 26. It'll go for 22 days, one day for each year of the war. And we're going to add that data that the American public will be able to provide to the data that we already exist to present to the designers. So everyone that participates, and I hope everyone does participate, can say, I helped, I contributed, they listened to me, my voice was important, I had value. And there's a reason, we kind of started the talk a little bit earlier about like how people feel. I think those that step forward and serve, we need to remind them of their value. We need to remind everyone of their value. So this provides that opportunity. So that's what's launching today, our Help Design History campaign.
Where do you want to see your mission, say, in the next 5 years?
Well, we will hopefully break ground. So this is our current timeline. Let me get this one out real quick. These are our a current timeline. Obviously, there's a lot of this is a 24-step process. We're in steps 13 through 19, which is the design phase of the Memorials and Museums Master's Plan design. Anyway, I'll talk about the bureaucracy stuff later on if someone wants to. But we hope to break ground by 2025 and dedicate by 2027. So that's right around the corner, right? That's just 4 short years. So we're really hope that we'll have had the groundbreaking ceremony in 5 years and have already initiated the programming. Like, what is this going to be? What are we going to do? Because we're in a very unique situation with regard to war memorials. I mean, it's real, it's relevant, it's right now. This is a memorial to the future. And I'll use this. So the authorization and use of military force, which is signed, in shortly after the attacks of 9/11, is what every administration has used to send our military to fight terrorism globally. Still there. Whether anyone wants to acknowledge it or not, it's a very smaller group, but men and women are still deployed in harm's way, defending us all from terrorism. So this is a memorial to the future. There's not really a bookend to this, and that's not for me to discuss. It's just to define like what it is that we are doing. So I foresee us having some programming of engagement, so we can continue to share this incredible mission, to share the memorial with not just those that serve within our borders, but really with the world.
And with the organization, you do a lot to help others, help get the message out. But what do you do for your own mental health?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. So, well, believe it or not, this is some of my best medicine. Talking with you, Michael. Like I told you earlier before we started recording, I was really excited to talk to you because I love to talk about. I'm an open book. So just working on this provides me an opportunity to continue to serve my nation. When I joined the Army when I was 17 years old, the majority of my adult life, that's what I did. And this provides me an opportunity. But in addition to that, I still go see, I still go to my meetings. I've been sober for over 9 years now. I still go to take care of my mental health. I'm older now, so I have to take care of this old rust bucket of a body that I got now. So, I do a lot more care for myself than I think I ever have because, I have three sons. One of them is currently still serving. My youngest son plans to serve when he graduates here pretty soon. I have a grandson now, so I need to take care of this old chassis so I can continue to be around for those little hombres.